Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Fridays are for Masterpiece, talking about Masterpiece. And I am a Masterpiece collector when it comes to Transformers, first and foremost. Masterpiece first, then Legends second, which is kind of new to me, and then Mainline Hasbro. And I want to say that there's a lot of reasons why people are collecting these Legends figures, and I'm going to make a list of 10. Now, I've made some lists before, but there are new reasons added to this, and the number one is you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, but hey, maybe you get a laugh out of it or a kick out of it, but my number one is pretty much what stimulated this resurgence of this Legends video. But I did avoid Legends for a long time because I was so into the Masterpiece. But let's get into talk about this. Also, if you've broken a Masterpiece figure in the last year, it has to be one that's been released recently, not like 6-year-old figure that I just bought off eBay and then it broke. I'm curious what figures are coming out Masterpiece that are having breakage issues with, because I'm hearing stuff here and there. I haven't had a whole lot of problems myself, but I'm curious what problems you have. So it's a future Masterpiece video. And also next week, 1986 guide. But let's get into Legends, why people are collecting them, coming up. First reason is price, and I kind of thought, like, how do I get a visual of price? How do I show how much cheaper Legends is than Masterpiece? And the way you do that, I think, is by just taking a clip of prices at one place. It could be Show Z right here. I mean, this is Show Z, TH reviewer code. And then you could do TF Source or Chosen Prime or any of those other ones. You can capture them the same way. But it's really easy to search here, and you find it real fast. But if you look on this, you see Legends ones are like 50, and I know some of them go up to 70 on Optimus Prime. And then Masterpiece ones are, over 100 to, like, down below. You got an official one for $200. So price, it is cheaper. It is significantly cheaper. Even though prices are ticking up and they're becoming more expensive over time, Legends figures are still cheaper than Masterpiece, and pretty much half the price for the most part. You can see it here with Cyclownus, and he's about $65 for the New Age. Here's why I will say the New Age one is superior, and compared to around $200, 160, 170 for a Masterpiece one, Fans Toys. That 254 was a specialty one, but anyhow, you do see the prices are cheaper. Next up, we have cartoon accuracy. Now, number 9 on my list here. Most people probably put price as their number one reason, by the way, but I put price way at the bottom, actually. But tune accuracy, these figures look so good. These days, they're coming out with figures that look absolutely amazing in the Legend scale. In the early days, I was not impressed with a lot of the earlier ones, but as time's gone on, New Age nails some of the characters. Magic Square nails some of the characters. So between the two, you get really a great display. Just like I mentioned, New Age's Cyclonus looks fantastic. The Omega Supreme, the Pengu Toys Omega Supreme, Optimus Primes, just so many figures. I prefer Magic Square for the most part, but there are some really awesome New Age figures out there that I am highly impressed with. And they really do rival. They rival the Masterpiece in many ways, and especially when it's New Age in the paint. I mean, it's really amazing with some of the figures that are out there. But yeah, they do match tune. They look really good. They're what I want. Now, more than the early days, they didn't look as good. Options are good. So number 8 are options. I never would have thought we'd have this many options for Skyfire in the Legends scale. I'm sure there's even more than this, but there's New Age, there's Magic Square, and then New Age has like 5 or 6 different versions of theirs. Clear and Jetfire looking and all this kind of stuff. And then I'm pretty sure Magic Square will come out with a metallic one, and then 5 years later get the EX painted one or something. But really, it's amazing that we have this many options. When it comes to Devastator, you have some great options here. But combiners, you have options for combiners already in the Legend scale. And then there's some that's not even shown, like the Hulky. I think it's DX9 make the Hulky. And so there's other ones out there. There's the Lucky Cat. I think it might be in this picture somewhere. But there's so many options for these figures. And it's good and it's bad because they seem to like focus on the same thing at the same time. There's even options for Optimus Prime. Of course, there's always options for Optimus Prime. But there's more options, I think, coming out than what you get for the Masterpiece. The Masterpiece, a lot of stuff is old. And let's transition into the next one. But you have old designs that aren't getting reissued. And then Some of the new stuff is stuff that we don't exactly need, but some of it is needed in the Masterpiece line. So, number 7 is new designs. You're getting new, fresh designs. And kind of what I was starting to touch on in the number 8 one with options, but these are brand new designs. There's no Masterpiece coming out making new Dinobots that are G1. There is King Toys doing extremely highly stylized, which they're fantastic. They're amazing. I was just messing around with that Stegsaurus one, and there's so much to it. So much engineering's gone into it and thought. But that's not G1-esque. This is G1-esque. Like, to a detriment almost that it's just so G1. But you're not seeing a third option coming out. You're not seeing Fans Toys reissuing all of their dinos. And with that, even if they did, that's not new. That's old stuff getting reissued. These are new. We're in a dino war right now in the Legends scale that you're not going to see probably ever again in the Masterpiece scale. You'll see some stylized stuff, but yeah, pretty impressive. And then, of course, you've got New Age with theirs, Magic Square with theirs, and I really wish that Magic Square was putting out new characters, but whatever, we got to start with the Grimlock. Next up is Space, and I've got to admit that there's just so much more you can cram in on a shelf when it comes to Legends. And I appreciate that now more than ever. It didn't used to be as big of a deal until, of course, the collection has grown over decades. And now I look at one of my Masterpiece shelves, and although I'm not going to take anything off of it, if I were to put my entire Legends on one of my 4 Masterpiece shelves, it would look very well spaced out. It wouldn't look cramped at all. And it would fit very well because of the size, the space that is needed for these is way less. And it feels like instead of needing half the space, you need a quarter of the space. So the amount of space that it would take to display this exact picture and these characters for Masterpiece would need way more. I mean, I'm not even twice as much, at least 3 times more space because, of course, the way it is. And with that, I think that's a huge draw to this is the space, even more than the price. But with them being lower priced and taking up less space, then yeah, that's definitely a huge draw. So next are transformations. So I'll just show a picture, one of Gibbs' pictures here. And this is, for Legends, most of them are more simplified transformations. Not all. So I would say 70%, if you were to take the Legends version and the Masterpiece version, the transformation is more simplified for the Legends. But that's not true for all of them. And I will be truly honest, there are some that are just mind-numbingly complex and overly engineered. Like the Magic Square Megatron, that thing is a bit on the complex side of the transformation. But it kind of has to be to go from perfection to perfection, but in one way. But anyhow, for the most part, though, these are relatively simple transformations, and to where it has less panels you got to fold up, and it does make for a better transformation, a better experience flipping them back and forth, and makes people want to flip them back and forth way more frequently. But yeah, some of the Masterpiece ones are a bit out there. So the next one, number 5 was transformations. Number 4 is that they have a much faster production cycle because there's less parts, they're smaller, there's less to it. Not all of them are painted, especially Magic Square, so there's a little less going on with them. The quickness that Magic Square is putting out this Grimlock is surprising, but they're probably working on it longer than they're working on their slag, so that's probably why. But anyhow, you don't seem to have to wait as long to get Legends. I don't know what's going on with McFans Toys, because some of their stuff's like 3 years out now, or 2 years out now, that blur and stuff. But this is pretty quick. And you think about the combiners came out pretty quick, like way quicker than a Fans Toys combiner. So the fact that they're smaller, the fact that they don't have to hold up quite as much weight, so there's really less to have to worry about, less engineering going on. They don't have ratchets in them. So there's a lot of reasons why they could get them to the market a lot quicker, a lot faster, a shorter development timeline. I want to point out number 3. It seems like they're easy to acquire. It seems like Legends figures are easier to get your hands on than Masterpiece. Now, there are some sold out ones that haven't gotten reissued, and that's with every line of every toy line made in the history of mankind. But for the most part, if you want a decent looking representation of Omega Supreme, there's one out there at retail right now somewhere. And if you want to go get a Masterpiece Omega Supreme, there might not be one available right now. Let me just check. All right, so just checking, there's a bunch of Pangus, a couple of versions of the New Age available, but if you want one, it's there. But everything is sold out, at least it shows for anything Masterpiece. And that's the way it is a lot of times with Legends. Like, you can get the Legends version, but the Masterpiece is sold out with a lot of these figures. Number 2 is less breakage. Now, I want to point this out. Yes, people have broken Legends figures. I don't recall me ever breaking one. I'm trying to think. The only thing that I had to do was like tighten a few screws that came loose. And I thought I broke like 5, but it was ball joints that popped off and I was able to pop them back on. But I can't recall if I've ever actually broken where it was unrepairable. But the way they construct them, they're simple construction. Yes, you can break them. Yes, there are breakage points. I'm trying to be careful with that. But compared to Masterpiece, there's less breakage. By the way, if you broke a Masterpiece figure in the past year, put it in the comments below. Let me know which one it was and what broke on it. And I want to make a video down the road. That's coming a while away, but I want to get some information on that. But I think that the way it's designed, a lot of people complain about Magic Square and how the plastic is pliable a bit, and that you sometimes, part of the transformation, you have to flex the plastic to move past it. But that's, I guess, just the way they design it. It's their expectation. But yeah, breakage. There's less breakage in Legends, for me at least. That's my belief. My number 1 is Legends, kind of, sort of, somewhat scale with Gobots. Now, compared to Masterpiece, where we got a really good Psykill. We got X-Transbots, KFC X-Transbots coming out with their Psykill kind of repaint, which is okay. It's decent. And then we have a couple of others like Kokomon, but there's not a whole lot out there in the Masterpiece scale. And there probably won't be real true Masterpiece for a long time. So you get your Legends figures, and you can put them next to your G1 or Vintage Gobots, and they scale with your Gobots. And I think that's the only way you're really going to achieve that. The only way you're going to get them next to Turbo, next to an Optimus Prime, or a Hound, or a Gears, or a Huffer, or anything like that, or get a Crasher out there next to them. I just don't see any company doing the Gobots. I think that they believe it's too small of a market to waste all of the resources on. And that's why Keith understands there is a market and will just do repaints. And we've seen that with DX9 too. But number 1, you can have that look, that aesthetic, because of the size. Next to Gobots. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Legends. I know a lot of Masterpiece collectors out there look at Legends and go, man, you get so many options that we don't. But that's just the way it is. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. Remember, talk about breakage for Masterpiece. Like, subscribe. Teddy Hanger out.